And there we go. Hi, everybody. I'm Beth Caldwell, and welcome to Make Your Brand Statement. I'm so happy to be giving this presentation to you today. I've given this presentation dozens of times all around the United States. And a lot of times when I get a new client, I want them to review this information. And I just realized I don't have a recording of it. So I thought, let me just do a webinar on this topic. And it's so popular. So I am glad you're here. I want to let you know, if you didn't see this in your email, once I'm done giving the presentation today, I would love to do one or two LinkedIn profile reviews, however much that we have time for at the end. So if you'd like me to review your LinkedIn account, put your name and put in the chat, I volunteer for a LinkedIn review, and Courtney will make note of that and let me know towards the end, okay? So I get this question a lot, particularly now that we're having these events hosted on LinkedIn. People who don't actually know me are wondering, why are you doing this workshop for free? So as I said, I'm Beth Caldwell, and I'm a life and business coach for women. My specialty is helping women. I do have some men clients, but my specialty is working with women and helping them to take a business where they make a few $100s a month and turn that into a few thousands of dollars a month or multiple thousands of dollars a month. And I do that with them by creating systems and streamlining their visibility. And I use these types of workshops to market my business. So before COVID, I traveled all around the country and Canada, giving workshops, usually where people would pay to attend. And obviously, last March was my last workshop. So starting in July of this year, I started doing webinars, and now I do them once a month, and I really enjoy it. So this is a part of my marketing and my visibility. So let's talk about your brand. It's a fairly new term, your brand, and what it means is, so for those of you who are around my age, we used to get taught, whether it was in junior high or high school or even your Girl Scouts, you would learn the importance of your image and your first impressions, okay? Your brand is the same thing. The only difference is that your brand is your personal image and your business or your professional presence combined into one. Because people, as much as you would want them to, people do not separate you from your business, right? Leanne, we were talking to Leanne just a little while ago, who owns a salon. The salon is Leanne. Sometimes people will even Google her name before they Google the salon's name, okay? And so it's just the way that humans are wired. We don't like to connect to logos or businesses. We like to connect with people. So that is what your brand is. Today, I'm going to give you simple and easy brand updates, just like the one that I did when we were in the beginning. But today I'm going to teach you some things that you can do both online for your online visibility as well as offline too. I have some really easy tips for you. Now, I think it's kind of clever that the word brand has the word and in it. We were chatting about this too. In the beginning part, we were chatting about the and there are so many women. I rarely meet a woman that doesn't have more than one thing she's doing, right? So sometimes people get stuck and hung up with, I'm an author and I'm the founder of Leadership Academy and I'm a speaker and I'm a coach, right? There's that and. So let me ask you, if you are meeting me for the first time, which introduction do you prefer? Do you prefer this one? Hi, everybody. I'm Beth Caldwell, and I'm a popular author. I write leadership books, and I write books on time management and productivity. Oh, and I'm a professional speaker, and I've been very happy and blessed to be able to work with people like Steve Harvey and Susie Orman. I've also created a leadership academy for women. Oh, I have this really awesome group on Facebook. It's called Monday Morning Mastermind, and every Monday I have a video, and I have a blog for Thrive Global. I've written for Pittsburgh Business Times and the Smart Business Magazine, and I have this women's group called Pittsburgh Professional Women. Like, what would you think if we were meeting in person? You'd be like, stop, I can't see your faces right now. So, but this is what a lot of times we do when we meet people for the first time. We want to take that first 20 seconds that we get to make an impression. And if you're like me and you do that, you're going to come across as very frantic. By the way, I have a lot of experience with this, which is why I wrote the book From Frantic to Focused. Okay. So that's the first introduction. And then here's an introduction that is customized to my audience. Hi, I'm Beth Caldwell. I'm a success coach for women. Nice to meet you. Yeah. Do you see the difference? There's so much more confidence and clarity, and it's just a cleaner and less intimidating, less scattered presentation. Okay. So when I work with women to polish their brand, generally, as I said, I work with women to help them shift their business so that they can go from making a few $100s a month to a few thousand. And a lot of times when they're doing this, they hesitate to update their brand. They think it is too bold. They think it's a little bit brazen. They think it's a little bit arrogant. Did somebody say that in the beginning? Oh, we were talking about this in the pre-chat about how, well, I didn't really want to make a comment on that because I didn't want to just like appear too braggy, right? So that's one form of hesitation or block or resistance. I like to call this resistance. When someone says to me, oh, I don't want to be too bold. And another part of resistance that I get is, I just changed my website 3 years ago. I mean, do I really want to make a change again? Right? So there's that hesitation. There's that resistance again. Okay. So we're trying to give you some tools here that is going to help you attract more visibility, position yourself more as a leader, an authority, and an expert. And then you go getting like, oh, I don't want to look like I'm making too many changes. And what are people going to think about that? Right? So when you think about that, when you notice that resistance, recognize that as resistance. And let me tell you what I tell people that have that kind of resistance. So I want to show you 2 examples of very successful companies. On the top, we have Nabisco brand. You're probably very familiar with Nabisco. You may even have some of their products in your pantry right now, right? Nabisco makes Ritz crackers and Fig Newtons and graham crackers and lots and lots and lots of other food. If you have a favorite Nabisco snack, you might be eating it this afternoon. You can put that in the chat. Nabisco's been in business for over 100 years. And as you will see, they haven't made a great deal of changes, right? They started as the Inner Seal Company in 1900, and they became Nabisco in 1941. And in 1958, they began to use that logo. And as you can see, it really hasn't changed. And how many years is that? 58 to today? By the way, little trivia about Nabisco. If you are somebody who likes to eat Oreo cookies, you'll see that little thing, to me, it looks like an antenna on their logo. That little cross sort of symbol is on every Oreo cookie. That's branding, my friends. Okay. So you'll see that Nabisco hasn't done a lot with their brand. On the other hand, we have the Apple company. Who has an Apple computer? If you love your iPhone and your iPad, and me, I have a laptop Apple and a big desktop screen. I just love that computer company. If you love Apple, you can say yes in the chat that you love Apple. So let's look at the evolution of the brand of Apple. So if you don't know this, I read Steve Jobs' biography, and he worked in an apple orchard. And I think it was either Washington or Oregon or Northern California when he had the idea for this company. And so that is why it became Apple Computers. And that's a picture, a drawing of the orchard that he worked in. It kind of reminds me of that Isaac Newton sort of a scene when I see that one. So they had that logo for 1 year. Then they had a professional designer update, and they went with the next version from 77 to 98. And then, as you can see, they've refined it and they've polished it a little bit. My favorite is the one that they used up until 2015. I like from 2001 to 2015. That's probably when I spent the most amount of money with Apple in those years. Those are my favorites. But here's my point, friends. When you go to buy Fig Newtons or graham crackers or Oreo cookies, or Ritz crackers, okay? When you're in the grocery store buying them, do you only buy them when they're on sale or when you have a coupon? And most people do that. They will not buy the Nabisco products, even though what's the most expensive Nabisco product, like $3.89, okay? They'll hesitate to spend money if it's not on sale. They'll look for the competitor. Yet, all across, not just America, the entire world, people take their suitcases full of cash into the Apple store. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. Okay. So and they can't wait for the next product to come out when it comes to Apple. So no, it's not wrong to constantly upgrade and improve your brand. Okay. I hope that gives you some confidence, because honestly, I'd like everybody to come to you with a suitcase of cash and saying, how can you help me? Here's my money. Okay. So I'm going to give you, I think, 6 things today. I know it said in the advertisement that I was going to give you 4 ways to update your brand, but when I wrote this workshop on Monday, it's more than 4. So the first thing that I want you to put on your to-do list to polish up your brand is to have an updated professional photo. These are 3 of my clients and colleagues. Nicole Lerda is on the left. She owns a salon and spa in Robinson Township. Gloria is a life coach in Sacramento, California, and Lisa Kroll owns a financial services firm in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. And you can see these are not your traditional headshots. A traditional headshot, even for a financial professional, is basically, sort of that head and shoulders, sort of a very serious thing. But you can see that Gloria has her dog there. These are open and approachable photos. When I'm having a client get a new headshot photo, I like them to, number one, have a new photo every 3 to 5 years. I like them to have a couple of different shots that we can use in different places. Maybe one for social media, one for their website, and something else for press releases and media, award nominations, those sorts of things. And I like to have different kinds of backgrounds. And I always make sure that we have one background that is completely clean and white, so that when we need to put them on certain marketing pieces, there's no background distracting in it. But what I'm trying to do is set you apart. It's just a little bit different than everybody else. And I always, when I'm choosing a headshot photo, when you go and get your photos taken, what do they give you? Sometimes 30, 40, 60 shots to choose from. I always think about, what would a TV news reporter, producer, which photo would that producer say? Oh, let's just pretend like all 3 of these women did the same thing. And if you were a news producer and you needed somebody to speak on the news at 6 p.m., right? You would be looking at photos. A lot of times photos don't look this good. So if I were a news producer, I'd be like, well, look, any of these women are going to work. Well, if I was a news reporter, I'd probably call them girls or ladies. But for me, I'll say any of these women would be perfect. See which one you can get. But a lot of times, these photos can be so unprofessional that they're immediately dismissed and not considered as a professional. So your headshot photo is super professional. When you're making your headshot, it's sort of, we run into that resistance again, okay? This is one of my clients. Her name is Kari. She lives in San Diego. Kari is a trauma nurse at San Diego General Hospital. She works in the trauma department, and she works really hard, and she's working especially hard right now. Kari, most of the time, looks like the first picture that you see. It's on my left. I'm not sure about you, where she's wearing the kind of green printed with the brown top underneath of it. And Kari mainly doesn't ever wear earrings, and she never wears makeup. She always has her hair in a ponytail because she's always working in the trauma surgery room at the hospital. But Kari's passion is to go to Africa, which during a non-pandemic, she does every year. And the first time she went to Africa to be a missionary nurse, she went for just a month. And then the next time she went for 2 months. And then now she goes for as long as for 6 months at a time. And she's not really comfortable doing hair and makeup. But what we were doing was, Kari had written a book about her experiences in Africa, working in hospitals there compared to the hospitals that she got to work in the United States. And we were using this book to get her some visibility and some interviews and sell some books to raise some money to fund her mission work. Okay. So Kari was really, really resistant to get a photo taken. She was really resistant. Now, here's the thing. This is a really busy woman. She doesn't have a lot of time. She doesn't want to spend a lot of money. She definitely doesn't want to spend a lot of time. So the first two photos, I have to say, were devastatingly tedious for her. She had angst and agony over them. It took forever to set them up. She dreaded going. Okay. And in San Diego, it's not a 15-minute drive anywhere. It's like an hour and a half to get somewhere. So I think that first photo that she had taken was a friend of hers that was taking some photography classes and had a pretty decent camera, but didn't really have a lot of experience. And the photo is okay, but I knew if I used that photo against other authors, she wasn't going to stand out. I was also trying to get her speaking engagements at the time, and it wasn't going to stand out. By the way, I've written an ebook called, years ago, I wrote an ebook called The Professional Woman's Guide to Getting a Good Photo. And I'll make sure to include that in today's recording so you can look at it. And Kari didn't read that book, even though I'd given it to her, she didn't read it, because I really want you to always wear solid colors. I find that, the print colors just don't blend. They don't go well with the eye. And we always want you to wear a color that you look amazing in. So in my book, I say no black, no white, no print. So you can see Kari never read the book, right? But anyway, so she spent hours getting ready for this photo on the left, which a friend of hers took. And then she saw some of the other authors that I was working with, and she's like, I don't think I'm going to use that photo. She paid $75 to her friend to give her that photo. Now, in the middle is a photo. This was a guy that she went to her church and said, hey, I'll give you a photo. I'll give you a photo for $150. I don't work as a photographer anymore, but I did go to photography school. So I'm going to ask you, what year do you think that man went to photography school? Because that sort of looks like my second grade background, right? So she, I think she wore some of the same makeup and hair. And guys, that's a stick pin that she's wearing, right? So I got that photo in and I said, no. Okay, so now she spent about 6 to 8 hours by the time she's scheduling appointments and clearing her calendar and picking out what to wear and driving to the place and doing the shoot. And I was just like, Kari, no, we're not doing that one. So this photo on the right was somebody in downtown San Diego. And this was probably maybe 4 years ago, $275 for that photo, including the makeup in San Diego. That is a good deal. Would you agree with me? If you were hiring a speaker to speak at your conference, or if you were looking for somebody to speak on the news, which person would you choose without even a second guess? So when you're getting a professional photo, make choices that serve you well. In other words, don't be cheap and be kind to yourself. Okay. I spent a little bit of time on there, but I know there's a lot of resistance when it comes to getting a photo. So number 2 thing that you can do to instantly improve your brand is your voice message greeting. When somebody calls you on the phone, so let's imagine that you're getting a phone call from your boss's boss's boss, and there's some kind of a project that you've been recommended to take on, and it could lead to a significant promotion and increase in your pay. And they call your extension at work and they get a computer. You have reached 412, or worse, they call your extension and you say, hi, this is Beth. I'm so sorry I can't take your call right now. I'm really busy helping other clients. I'm really sorry to inconvenience you, but could you please leave a message? And I'll get back to you just as soon as I can, right? There's a lot of diminishing words in there. I'm sorry, I'm just a little busy, I'm really this, if you don't mind. There's a lot of diminishing words that we use in our greetings and our everyday language, right? And so when you call a man at work, basically it's going to be, this is the office of John Smith, leave a message, right? You never hear a man apologizing on his voicemail. Okay, so today on your to-do list, I would like you to call your voice message greeting and ask yourself and tell me, what does that voice message greeting say about you? Does it say you're the best person for the job? Does it say you would make a great media interview? Imagine if a news producer called that number, right? Or if it's somebody that wants to hire you to be, wants to become a client. How about, here's a couple things. By the way, if you have my book, Women Lead, that's my newest book. And if you have that book, in the very back of that book, the last section is resources. The first 2 pages of that resource are sample voice message greetings, like really good, strong, concise, confident voice messages that you can use in all different situations. But one thing that I think is awful, and it's so bad for your brand, is when somebody calls you. So this is now January of 2021 when we're recording this workshop. I called somebody about 2 weeks ago and got her voicemail, and it said, "I'm out of the office until September 3rd. Please leave a message." Like, honey, I know you're busy, but really since September, you've had that message up there, right? Sometimes we don't call ourselves, so we forget. Okay. So what does your voice, they're going to think, oh, did she get fired? Did she quit? Is she out of business? That could be the danger of not having a really great, confident, updated voice message. So again, these are things you're going to spend a little bit of money on a professional photo, but your voicemail message costs you nothing and takes almost no time to do. Okay. So number 1 was your photo. Number 2 is your voice message. My number 3 tip is your email signature. And these are 2 of my clients. Ruth Ann Bowen is an amazing web designer. And Tracy O'Neill is a medical intuitive and a naturopathic doctor. Both of these women are clients of mine, and they do have their photo included in their signature line. And what you'll see is Ruth Ann calls herself a chief marketing officer. And it's that when you are in her email, that bottom line that says click to schedule a free 15-minute call, that's a live link that you can click on. And actually, I suggested, and I'm pretty sure she did this, which says, need a website makeover, question mark. Click to schedule a free 15-minute call. And it really, just that one little polish in there worked. And then Tracy O'Neill, she does a lot of her marketing by writing articles, which we put on her blog. And so Tracy, as a naturopathic doctor and an intuitive, she can see clients for all kinds of reasons. And she can see people of all ages. And she's even worked with animals and pets. But she has, just like you do, Tracy has her favorite things to do. And she really likes to work with people who have chronic pain, serious ongoing conditions, like the immune deficiency conditions, digestive issues, sleep issues, and hormone issues. So we wrote articles on those 5 of her favorite things to do. Oh, also constipation. She loves to help people with constipation. So we wrote a constipation article, right? So what she does here in her signature line of her email is she alternates the different articles that really attract her ideal clients. This one of her most popular, having trouble sleeping. Who today, right now, can say yes? If you can say yes to that question, say yes in the chat. And I don't know if Tracy's here today. She sometimes joins us on these. But that's a very engaging and interesting email signature line. And because she changes it about every 3 weeks, people always check to see what's down there. Okay. So your email signature line, again, is a very easy, affordable, fast, quick way you can instantly update your brand. Now, I do work with clients that do not want to put their photo in their email signature line, and you can do that too. A lot of the clients that I have that work in corporate real estate, finance, I have some clients in the medical research field and in medicine. And unfortunately, in their fields, being a woman doesn't get as much respect as being a man. And so I have some people whose names could be man or woman, and they found that they get more response when they don't have a photo. I think that's terribly disappointing. I want them to use their photo anyway, but I totally understand, right? I think the more we all put our photos out there, the more we'll begin to eliminate that kind of bias, right? So number 3, your email signature. Okay, number 4, Have a dynamic short bio. Most people that I work with have no bio at all. And anybody that I've ever worked with that had a bio, it was painfully long, more like a resume. So here's why I want to tell you, a dynamic short bio is really important, especially if you want to increase your visibility. It can also be it can also work as an introduction for you if you're going to be giving a talk. Okay. So here's what I want to tell you. Everybody is interesting, and that includes you. There's something about you that's unique and different. Okay. And when you're writing your bio, I want you to imagine that, this announcer is saying, and coming up next, we have, right? We want it to be that captivating. We don't want it to start out with your certifications and your degree. So let me give you a brief example. Of course, I have an entire presentation on bios. I just want to give you the really short how to get started on your bio. That would be, your name is Beth Caldwell is, remember back at the beginning, right? We don't want to list everything you do that makes an entire paragraph long. Beth Caldwell is a life and business coach for women, period. So her work involves, or you could change that to what I say is, she helps her clients go from making a few $100s a month to a few thousand, period. Learn more at coachbethcaldwell.com. Okay. Or I like to do in my blog, to see her workshop, Make Your Brand Statement, click here. Okay. You notice I didn't say any certifications. I don't talk about where I live, where I went to school, how many kids I have, how long I've been in business. I don't say any of that, because if I were going to be interviewed on the radio or TV, they're not going to include that. They're going to say, coming up next, business coach Beth Caldwell helps clients to grow their business even during a pandemic. Now, if I didn't have a good short bio, they wouldn't be able to create that. Okay. So a simple short bio, not quite as easy as changing your voicemail message, but very, very important. Okay. So I know I told you I was only going to give you 4 tips, but I have 2 more. My number 5 tip is, I hate seeing this picture. How many times do you see this picture when you go to a website? So this happened to me yesterday. I was filling out a speaker application for an organization in Minnesota, because now I can speak anywhere by Zoom, right? And I wanted to see if I knew anybody on the board of directors. So I clicked on the Meet Our Board page, and there were about probably 8 board members, 4 men, 4 women. 3 out of the 4 women, this was their picture. And that just crushes me, because, men join membership organizations, they join alumni organizations, and they volunteer because they see it as a stepping stone in their career. Like, I want to get promoted, or I want to get an award, or I want to get featured in the news. So I know that a part of that is to volunteer in the community, where women are like, oh my gosh, they really need money. Let me volunteer. Look, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to do it, at least let yourself be visible in it. So if you have this anywhere, don't do anything about it right now. First, get your photo updated, or find your updated photo, because some of you have them, but you don't know where they are. Fix your email signature line. Decide what your bio is going to be, and then put it on your calendar. Maybe 2-3 weeks from now, or even 2 or 3 months from now, update all of my board/alumni online profiles. Okay. I think I said that. You want to have your new photo, your new bio, your mission, and you always want to talk about where you're going. I'm glad I put this on here. I work with people, and I'm sure you have done things in the past that you don't do anymore. I work with people that may have a degree or certification. Probably the most extreme example I can tell you was a client that I had about 4 years ago. She was a chiropractic doctor. She spent a lot of money and time on her degree and her designation and her professional credentials. Okay. But she became a chiropractor after all that. She didn't really like working with people that much. Even though she was really passionate about health, she really didn't like it. And you know what she did? She went back to school and became an interior designer. Okay, another pretty significant investment of time and money to get that certification. But what she had on her bio was chiropractic doctor Susan Smith. Like, you can't, that's too confusing for me. I'm not going to hire a chiropractor to do my interior design. So it shouldn't talk about your past. It should talk about where you're going. I see this a lot with teachers and social workers, where they've worked as a teacher for years, but now they're a certified professional accountant, and they begin their bio by saying, Susan Smith taught elementary school for 22 years, and now she's a professor. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? So we want to say Susan Smith is a certified public accountant who helps her clients, save money on taxes, whatever, right? So you always want to talk about where you're going. All right, my last tip for you: how could I do branding and not talk about social media presence? Okay. Who feels just a little anxious looking at the slide, right? Of course, we have the standbys: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Some of you are still on Twitter. Some people have dabbled in, what's that one on the bottom? I was there for a minute. I can't remember the name. TikTok, Twitter, and of course, the brand new Clubhouse. Okay. This can be overwhelming. We are trying to run businesses here. Okay. And here's my advice to you on social media: either be there or don't be there. If you're going to be on social media, have a powerful, polished, professional presence. If you're not going to be on there, then just take yourself off. And to go deeper, if you're using social media to grow your business, then by all means, be on the social media where your ideal clients are. Okay. A lot of people love Instagram. Who doesn't love flipping through Instagram and looking at those photos? But if your clients aren't there, don't spend your marketing time polishing up your Instagram presence. Instead, spend it on your LinkedIn. Okay. We're going to be doing LinkedIn makeovers. So again, a reminder: if you want to have your profile reviewed, make sure you let Courtney know in the chat. One thing that I want to let you know is you are going to get, I think Courtney's going to try to upload this for you here so you can have it now, but I will put a link to this in the recording that I sent you. But from my book, Women Lead, this Polish Your Personal Brand checklist is in the resource section at the back. Now, I've just given you some tips. When I do this workshop in person, I give a lot more tips. They're all included in that checklist. Look, this is a lot. This is a pretty easy thing to do, but it is not something you are going to do like right after we stop today. So this checklist is something really convenient that you can keep in your desk drawer and just check it off as you polish things. Now, your brand isn't something that you just do one time in January of 2021 and it's done. It's something that you want to keep up with. So, let's say one thing I like you to do when I'm working with you is to get featured in the media, to receive some awards, to maybe have an article published or be a speaker at a conference. When you've done that, we want to add that information to your website, your social media profiles, or your bio. And so this is something you want to really review about once a year. If you get an award or something really significant, a little more often than that. But this checklist is my gift to you. Please print it out, put on your bulletin board or put it in your desk, and that way you will remember to get to all of these important things. Okay. I would love for you to save the date. My next workshop, I'll be doing these workshops every month for the foreseeable future. And next month, I'm going to be talking about a topic that I have never taught before, but it's very important, and it's called overcoming imposter syndrome. I have seen this a lot with my clients, and this whole resistance thing, this resistance to being visible and being successful and making lots of money and making a difference and making an impact. So Thursday, February 25th. This is already on my website, coachbethcaldwell.com, up in the right on the homepage or my events. And then there's also an event page where you can see my upcoming events. So it's already there. You can go and register if you haven't already. And I want to tell you that I'm starting something new. I work with people privately as a coach, but typically I work with people who want to move really fast. And there are a group of people who want to make shifts in their business, but they need a slower pace than what I typically do. And they need a little bit more hand holding. So I'm starting a group program, a very affordable group program for the Shift Success Circle. I'm really looking forward to it. I already have, I think, 3 women are already signed up for it. And I didn't even have it on the website until Monday. So this is on my website right now, coachbethcaldwell.com. And then you can look at the top for the word shifts. You can see all of the details on this. I'm not really the kind of person that really wants people to like go on the website and click and buy from me. Like, I'm not that kind of a person. I really prefer to have a conversation with someone. My groups are small and intimate, usually no more than 12 people. And it's really important that it's the right fit. So if you're interested in the success circle and you think it might be right for you, you can see it on my website. I would prefer to talk to you though, to make sure it's the right fit for us, for both of us, and make sure it's the right program for you. But please check it out. I'm so proud of this. And by the way, I have to say, I love my new website. There are a few things that need to be still updated, but I love that website. I'm especially happy with that page. All right, let me stop sharing my screen here. First of all, I'm going to go out of full screen so I don't lose anything. And then I'm going to stop sharing so I can see all of you again. So if you would like to unmute or open up your camera, you're welcome to do